Steve Smith, and I'm an architect, and I have an architectural practice called the Lawrence Group in downtown St. Louis. About 10, 15 years ago, I started buying the motorcycles that I wished I could have owned when I was a young man. And so 2 motorcycles became 4, became 8, and I started going to swap meets, and then I had 15, and all of a sudden I had a fairly substantial collection. In 2000, I bought a building in the 3300 block of Locust Street with the intent of having a place to keep my motorcycle collection and have a place to work on them, like these motorcycles behind me. The other inspiration was in the late 90s, the Guggenheim Museum in New York City had a show, an exhibit at the Guggenheim, the Frank Lloyd Wright Museum, called The Art of the Motorcycle. And what it did was it showed all the different ways motorcycles have been designed over the years, and I just was really inspired by that. So I started collecting motorcycles from as many different countries as I could find. When I first opened it as a museum, we just charged admission and people would come in the door, and on a Saturday there would be maybe 10 people would come in. But people started saying, hey, this is so cool, can I do a birthday party here? Or can I do a fundraiser or a corporate event? So I was starting to get requests to rent the museum out. To do that, I needed to have a kitchen, but I didn't want to have just a kitchen to do events, and Chaffetz Arena was being built, so the thought was, well, let's go ahead and create a restaurant. So we'd have the kitchen. The kitchen would also serve a restaurant, and then the restaurant would bring people down here then who could see the museum. So now I had, in 2008, a restaurant and a museum, and we were getting pretty good acclaim. I mean, the restaurant was very popular. We were doing a lot of events in the museum. Jay Leno has been through here. Dan Aykroyd has been through here. So we're getting celebrities, and I was really emboldened by how popular this had become. St. Louis Owners Club had an event here, and this was in 2009. And one of the attendees was the national sales manager for Ducati North America. And by the end of the day, he's basically saying, Steve, would you open a Ducati dealership here in your complex? The other thing that started to become real to me was the idea that this was going to become a unique destination as an entire complex, a museum, a restaurant themed around the motorcycle, and a dealership, and the events associated with that was unique in this country. Father Biondi and St. Louis University have been a client of mine for 15 years, and I bought the Tramp Grill building from the university with Father's excitement since Chaffetz Arena was opening, and we still had this 5-story building next door that was empty. In a meeting with Father, the suggestion was made, why don't we open a hotel here? Of course, Father, being the visionary that he is, loved the idea, and like he can do, said, let's do it, let's make it happen. You know, what has been fascinating through this whole process for me is what started as a collection, a personal collection and a hobby of collecting motorcycles has evolved into a whole neighborhood redevelopment. What I've learned from that is the opportunity that having a unique idea and creating a destination that's different than you see anywhere else, you know, in a municipality or even in a region, can become an impetus for seeing the redevelopment of a whole piece of the city.